Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble dungeon guide video, I'm going to take a look at Dire Maul on an Undead week with no talents whatsoever. So I've been cooking some non-talent builds, and with this Baron build, I was actually able to clear a level 21 dungeon with no talents whatsoever, average level 18.4 after the reward, so pretty far above, no special relics either. So let's talk about Dire Maul, no talents. This is the army that I used, so I have Plague Farmer, I have Defias Bandits, Quillboar, Prowler, Execute, and Harpies. Now let's talk about the roles of these minis map by map. So first boss minis will start fighting against each other when they're damaged to 70%. Execute can do that for you, as long as Execute is maximum 3 levels lower than the dungeon. If it's more than 3 levels lower, then you're going to be in trouble. So my Execute in this slot is level 18, which means that level 21 is pretty much the limit of where I can push this build. So Execute makes everyone fight against each other. You can make them fight against their towers, you can make them fight against their boss, so you really want to put those Executes into good use there. Also on the first map, there's Huntresses, there's Ogre Mages. Prowler is an excellent counter to those. So that's why we have Prowler. We have Harpies, we have Quillboar, so Harpies deal a lot of damage even without the talent, and Quillboar turns enemies around so that Harpies have a chance. Defias Bandits are also excellent at stunning Ogre Mages, for example. So Ogre Mage comes towards your base starts shooting at it, Ogre Mage starts shooting at your base, Bandits stun the Ogre Mage, so the Ogre Mage doesn't deal too much damage. And Plague Farmer is just excellent at dealing damage everywhere. Then we go to the second map, Immol'thar, and in the second map, whenever you play a mini, then an eye will soon spawn, and that eye is going to explode when it's close to your minis. So that map is the reason I included Defias Bandits here, because I want to spawn some of those eyes. I want to spawn those eyes for my defense. When enemies are attacking, I want to spam cheap minis that spawn eyes, and then everything is going to explode. And that's why I needed Defias Bandits. Typically, I do the second map with Poison Harpies. You just need to find a route for the Harpies to get to the boss, turn the boss around with Quillboar, and then Harpies, typically that would be Execute with Bloodlust, Cheat Death, and boom, the boss is just dead. The boss just dies to that one attack. However, when you don't have talents, when Harpies don't have poison, then Cheat Death isn't as useful. That's why I need the Bandits, so that I can defend, so that I can place these Bandit bombs to defend myself. Otherwise, if I had poison on the Harpies, I could use Cheat Death instead of the Bandits and just be done with it with a single attack, but now I cannot. Plague Farmer also can be dropped as a bomb, and Prowler, well, there's Ogre Mages and there's Huntresses once again, so useful to counter those. And finally, there's going to be the third map. You want to take at least the rightmost lieutenant, maybe both of them, meet in the middle, kill the healer, kill the boss. So first I'm dropping Prowler, Plague Farmer, Defias Bandits, get to the middle tower, and then I'm sending Harpies to the right, and I'm turning the boss around with Quillboar. Quillboar tanks the boss, Harpies deal damage to it, the mini-boss on the right, and then it changes sides to your side. On the other flank I can do the same thing, then party in the middle, execute on the healer takes full execute damage, not boss-like, and boom, that's going to be the third map. So without talents compared to playing this with talents, this slot is different because I would use Cheat Death here usually, but now I use Defias Bandits because I cannot kill the second boss fast enough and I need more tools to defend myself. And Defias Bandits don't really care about their level too much, so it doesn't matter that the bonus is not activated. Now, if I were to get Lifesteal Relic, then I could use Fire Elemental instead of Harpies, and then I would probably want to use Skeletons instead of the Defias Bandits, so that those Skeletons can be dropped to protect the Fire Elemental from Banshees in the second map, and Fire Elemental can just solo the boss on the second map, so then there's no need for Harpies at all. So something like that. If I got the Lifesteal Relic, then maybe I could do one level with a -4 execute, so I might be able to do a 22 with this, but outside of Lifesteal Relic I really don't see that happening. This build works with all Undead Leaders, so even if you don't have talents, you can just roll through some bosses in Dire Maul, and this is what it all looks like in action. Alright, Dire Maul, no talents, first boss, almost 3 levels under, let's go. So I'm executing on the left to make those grunts go a little bit crazy and start to fight against each other. Then I'm trying to get some pressure on the right, maybe trying to get the chests. Often I do lose the chest. It's not the end of the world. If you can get the tower here at the start, then that is the optimal outcome. If you can't, it's still totally fine. If you can, for example, make some minis go crazy and you can get the tower to shoot at them, then that's totally fine. Like here, I'm now being able to delay all of these assaults. This is actually above average opening result. And then there's always the chance to execute a mini when it's close to the tower, so that it just starts to fight against the tower and everything's gonna go smoothly. There I felt like I had to use the execute because Mountaineer plus Ogre Mage was a bit of a too strong push. And now I'm trying to get to the tower, but nah, that one really didn't work out too well. As an upside, my base hasn't taken too much damage and the tower is almost destroyed. So all I need is a little bit of a nudge. No, the hunter's spawning. Well, but the grunt hit the huntress just enough. And now we're back in this. Huntress is going to start hitting at the tower. It's going to keep destroying the tower as long as it's crazy. Okay, the tower is going to remain the opponent's tower still, but anyway. Now that I have a good assault going on this tower, I want to make it a little bit more difficult for the opponent over there. That's too slow with the Quillbore. That's really sad. Now I'll have to also use the Prowler. If I was a little faster with the Quillbore, I would have been able to send the Prowler elsewhere, but now I had to use it there. Anyway, it's all good because we have almost gotten the tower, and that is always a good outcome. If you can't get the towers, then you're going to get so overwhelmed. At least the rightmost tower, but preferably both of them. And you do that mainly with the power of executes. Sometimes you can get a good big push at the start of the tower like I was able to, but then there's executes here. Here's what I'm planning. Let's execute the Ogre Mage. Ogre Mage is going to start fighting against the tower. And now that battle just... Well, tower is now barely alive. Another Ogre Mage is coming, but we should be able to knock the tower down and knock the Ogre Mage out. Both of those things should be available. I'm trying to figure out how to get it done, and I just can't. Well, the other tower stands, and as long as the tower is building, that means that the AI cannot deploy troops there. And when troops cannot be deployed there, then it's just basically a matter of time before I will be able to get it. So, no worries. With Harpies, I have to wait until the Ogre Mage commits. Now the Ogre Mage is committed to shooting at the tower. It's safe to drop Harpies. Harpies will then kill the Ogre Mage. And we keep fighting here. I don't think we can get the chest. Can we get the chest? That would be phenomenal. No. A little bit late. Day late and a dollar short. And then that Ogre Mage is also going to be a pretty painful experience. So things have not been going... Things started pretty well. My base didn't take too much damage at the start. I was able to start fighting for the towers, but I have not been able to push at the boss. However, now it's overtime and I do have both towers, which means that I can try to find now opportunities with the execute, so that the execute will make the boss fight against other minis, and now there's my opportunity. Grunts, Ogre Mage, everything fighting against the boss. Also, all of my minis are approaching. Opponent just committed a bunch of gold, and I get a lot of minis out there, and zap, that's another big execute. Just look at that Ogre Mage. That Ogre Mage is shooting at the boss so much. And then I get the Plague Farmers in, that poison is sticking, and boom, we did it. It's dead. Then to the second boss, there are basically two alternative strategies. Either you go through the left lane and try to kill the boss quickly, or you take the tower on the right and go for two-sided pushes much slower. I have not found the two-sided push to be more consistent in winning, even though it's slower. You don't die as quickly if you fail, but you just then end up dying slower. So I just like to go through the left lane, find my way to the boss. So I try to send Harpies towards the boss. They can go either the far left or they can go through the middle. Either way is fine, as long as they find a small opening that they can navigate towards the boss. And then I need the Quillbore to turn the boss around, and then Harpies start hitting in. And now we're getting some damage in. We're not getting a ton of damage in though. I'm trying to find an opportunity to place more Harpies. I think I found it, but actually that's probably not good enough. No, the explosion took them. Should have just been a little bit more patient, sent the harpies all the way from my base. It's really difficult to keep those meeting stones, because when ice spawn, then ice will capture the meeting stone away from you. And here I'm using the Defiance Bandits like a bomb. I'm just dropping bombs, basically. I'm using the Plague Farmer as a bomb as well. I'm just dropping bombs on those enemies. And then those bombs are going to explode, and then when the bomb explodes, well, enemies will die. And that's the way I try to protect my base. Now I have also managed to get another group of harpies going, and we have the Quillboar ready. So dropping the Quillboar, turning the boss around, and then trying to get back to defense line again. And again, I'm using these small minis like bombs. They're dropping over here, things start to explode, things start to die. That's how it goes. Those harpies did a bit of damage, but again, not enough damage. If harpies had poison, then I would be running cheat death, and then I would just one wave of harpies would be enough to kill the boss. But because this is a fully no talented run, then that means that I have to do it a little bit more difficult way. Now, Baron's skeletons are actually pretty good against those banshees, although I could have also ambushed the banshee with the Defiance Bandits. If I was running some other leader, then ambushing the banshee would have been totally fine. And now it looks like we can do this, and we can chip in and execute, and boom, we actually make it through. Wonderful. And finally the third boss. This is more of a formality. Capture the right, capture the left, party in the middle. It can fail if your timings are really poor, something unexpected happens, you don't support your right push enough, for example, and you somehow lose the slower, that right lieutenant there, then yeah, you can lose this. But overall, I just want to make sure that I have enough power in the middle, so that I will capture the tower. That means that my base is not going to be under any threat, so I will be able to focus on attacking, and I will be able to send more reinforcements from the middle really quickly once the battle is on. Now on the right, harpies are fighting, Quillboar is tanking, and I look, okay, there's some reinforcements coming, so I need to send more tanks there. Because I want tanks so that once I turn the ad to my side, now it's regenerating to my side, I want those tanks to protect it, so that it will be good, nice and healthy, and then it will get to fight. I actually managed to lose all the tanks there, but it's okay. I still have time. I should probably have sent the Prowler there, but I have a Quillboar, which is nice because I can drop a Quillboar anywhere. So that boss is going to be mine. I just need a little bit of support for the other side, like this. All right, looking okay. Now our timings are a little bit messed up. I was a little bit too fast on the left side. I probably should have sent the first Prowler to support the right side instead, but it's not too big of a deal, because we have the slower, so as long as it keeps shooting at the boss is going to stay slowed, although sometimes the boss seems to break out of the slow a little bit. But I would just need to be able to protect it. Now it's getting attacked, which is not good. So, well, we can still maybe do this, because we have the Plague Farmers, and Plague Farmers keep poison ticking on the boss, and so much poison. There's just so much of that poison. And yeah, now the healer is dead. Poison is sticking. The boss can't get to the Plague Farmers, and then the boss is dead. And that was that dungeon with no talents. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.